Invest in Black women. What's up, y'all? We are back with episode 3 of Insecure, Racist as F. It's your girl, Danielle S. Reed. I am coming to you all from Atlanta, ATL, the deep down dirty South. Publicist, social media manager, all around media personality, and media maven. Please subscribe to Reed TV before we get into this so you can make sure you get all of the alerts once I post a new video, because I have some more reviews coming soon. Y'all are watching these reviews back to back to back, and I love it because, of course, we have Insecure available on Netflix, y'all. I think y'all are still understanding what that means, but it's okay because we're gonna get into the episode. Make sure you are watching all the episodes, season 1, season 2, season 3. I'm going to review all of them, so let's get into it. So if you watch my review from episode 1 and 2, you know, just to recap, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to talk about everything in the episode. Of course, I'm going to talk about what happened in each episode, but I'm not going to spoil anything going into the future and telling you about what's going to happen in season 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You just going to have to watch with the rest of us. All right. So this is a good one. This is a good one. Like I said, episode 2 was, but this one, woo, we back. Okay. We back with the writing. We back with the realness. We back with the authenticity. Racist as F. Let's just get into this title real quick. We gonna talk about getting racist on the show. I was very excited. Let's see how we're going to dive into this. And of course, the main character, I would say, in this episode is job and workplace BS. So, where do we start in this episode? We actually start right where we left off. Issa finally went home. Yes, Issa has been avoiding going home to Lawrence for days after she mentioned she wanted to break up. So now at the end of episode 2, Issa finally comes home. There's this awkward silence and they're like, yeah, I'm back. So we see this scene of Issa and Lawrence going to bed. This is our first time seeing them in a scene in the show in the same bed together. Lawrence comes in, turns off the light, and then Issa's like, oh wait, I'm about to read. He's like, oh, turns on the light back on. He lays down. But then she was like, oh, just like all women. Oh, but I can do whatever it is you want to do. You want to go to sleep? Okay, we can go to sleep. So he was like, oh no, you can stay up and read. And she was like, you sure? Okay, cool. So she pulls her book out after wrapping her hair and keeps the light on. Then we see eventually she turns the lights off, tries to go to sleep. And then we see this scene of them tossing and turning in the bed. You can tell that things are not right here. Things are not comfortable. Things are not calm. Things are not peaceful for them in the relationship. Actually, Lawrence, even before the tossing and turning, he actually reaches over to kind of touch and get a little feel up on Issa. And she, talk about jumps almost damn near out the bed away from that man. I was like, sheesh. She's like, your hands are cold. I'm like, I don't even think I've ever even told a significant other that his hands was cold. Because baby, if I wanted it, that didn't really stop nothing. But hey, clearly she's turned off by Lawrence again. Don't want to really be there, but she's there. So they're not touching, they're not kissing, they're not bumping and grinding. Ain't nothing going on. They just going to sleep awkwardly together over here. So Issa does this fake yawn and turns over to try to ignore Lawrence's advance in the bed towards her. And so the next scene we go straight to is Lawrence being frustrated about his job search and all of these interviews he's getting. And so he's in this office talking to this white woman who is in HR, or it seems to be his recruiter, who's supposed to be helping him try to get a job. Basically, he's like, look, I went to Georgetown. Now, if you don't know what Georgetown is, they make a lot of references to Georgetown in this episode. Georgetown University is in Washington, D.C. It's considered an Ivy League college, top tier, hard to get into, but well respected for those who do finish and graduate. Of course, if you go to Georgetown, people do usually expect that you land a good job, a decent job with decent pay. Talking about salary, benefits, all that, pension, all that. So that's what he's looking for. A very, very good job. But what we hear from his recruiter is not really any answers to his questions, which is why is he not necessarily landing these jobs? She mentions reference to some of the gaps in his resume. And then she says, maybe you should really try to look at entry level roles or maybe hourly roles. Skirt. This is a true example of like trying to keep this man underemployed. Underemployment is when you are actually qualified to work in a higher job, but you take a lower paying and a lower qualified job just to get something. We call that desperation over here. So you don't ever want to be desperate in a job search like that, especially if you are trying to get something that you know you are qualified for, which Lawrence holding a full 4-year degree means he's qualified to pretty much enter any corporate space in America. So of course this advice that she gives him is not easy to hear. And so I think this is our first example of what some potential microaggressions or racism might look like, even in this very first scene or second scene here of this episode. But I'm not going to say, oh, she's being racist. There was nothing overtly stated, but the undertones were suggesting, why don't you take something that is a little lower in pay and a little under your degree and under your actual experience, which I'm going to tell you right now. If Lawrence was a white man, she would not be saying that. Okay? Just going to say it. She would not be saying that. Okay? If he was a white man with a Georgetown degree. No, she would not say that. Absolutely not. So, next, we switch over to Molly. We're back in the office with Molly, and there's a new black girl in the office. So Molly is naturally excited. She's like, oh, I see somebody black. She's talking to one of her white coworkers. They're like, yeah, she came in. She's cool. We like her. She was like, okay, well, she offers to help her. Now, when Molly refers to helping her, I think what we need to understand is that Molly is trying to just say or mean like, let's befriend each other so we can look out for each other in this workplace. Okay. And so when we meet this girl, her name is escaping me. I actually was in a room with her not long ago here in Atlanta. But basically, the kind of red flag, if you will, is that she gives her name, which starts with a D, but she was like, you can call me Dada. No, her name is Rashida, but she says to Molly, you can call me Dada. I was like, not Dada. Oh my God. I probably will never refer to anybody at work as Dada. I'm sorry. But moving on, we'll get back to Dada. Issa, now we're at Issa at work. So again, we're kind of following everyone's workplace. Issa's at work and she basically hears her coworkers talking about her in the rec room. If you've ever worked in a predominantly white space, this may have happened to you if you are black or a person of color. People are talking about you, literally, you hear it down the hall or behind you or even in the same room as you. They can be rude and disrespectful. And so when she walks into the room, you hear dead silence. Hint, hint. If you ever walk into a room and everybody stops talking, they might have been talking about you. So they fake. I wrote down they fake. Her coworkers are fake. They're talking about her behind her back. And once she walks into the room, nobody has anything to say. So Issa asks about beach day because basically I believe they settled on let's do a beach day cleanup for We Got Y'all for the youth. Take the kids to the beach. We know these are black and brown students and do a beach day cleanup, etc., etc. So everyone's talking about beach day and basically her white coworker who is I believe either on her project or like right under her. I don't know if she reports to Issa. It kind of seems like she does. She was like, hey, they were just like referencing the concerns that they had, the emails that, in the emails that they sent. Issa was like, there were emails sent? That's rude. And that's crazy. The fact that her white coworkers emailed her white counterpart coworker to tell them all of their thoughts and feelings about the upcoming event at work, but didn't email Issa. And the reason is she literally says, oh, well, they weren't sure how you were going to react if they told you. This is a clear microaggression. A microaggression is something stated that is small but hints at an overall stereotype, discrimination, or racist idea. Something that you are painting due to someone's skin color, religion, background. So, due to the fact that Issa is black and she's the only black person at her job, we have not seen any other black person at We Got Y'all. She's the only one, not a black man, not another black woman. She's the only black person at We Got Y'all, the entire nonprofit in Inglewood, California. And her coworkers express fear about emailing her about a project she's spearheading. That also leads to a hint and suggestion that maybe Issa would have reacted aggressively, which again, black women being painted as aggressive in the workplace is a microaggression. It is racist. It is disenfranchising, and it actually keeps a lot of us back and lower in positions due to other people's ideas, non-black people, white folks' ideas of and assumptions and stereotypes of us in the workplace. Because to this point, and even prior to this scene, Issa has never expressed, or that we have seen on the show, any frustration to anyone at work. She has never said a bad thing, a mean thing. She has never yelled at anyone. She has never expressed anything aggressive. So at this point, she's probably thinking, what makes my coworkers afraid to email me? What makes my coworkers afraid to talk to me? Is it because I'm black? Yeah, girl. So that was slap in the face. A lot of people I know I can definitely relate to this, but I'm sure a lot of people could relate to this scene in particular right here in the kitchen, in the workplace, having that conversation. And so yeah, Issa definitely breaks into a rant to Lawrence, and so here's where we can see that she is at least going back to Lawrence and telling him what she's going through in her workplace. And she's like, these secret emails, these secret white emails and secret white feelings, like, I'm so frustrated with it. She voices her frustration to Lawrence when she gets back home. And this is actually what motivates her to make Beach Day a success for those students, and to prove to her coworkers that this is a good idea and that she can do it, and that they don't need to be concerned about her leading anything. Lawrence shares that during Issa voicing her frustration, so we're back in the apartment, okay? Issa's going off about work. And so then Lawrence listens to her, he reassures her, and he does encourage her. He's like, go ahead and make that beach day do what you need to do. Yeah, prove them wrong. You got this, Issa, you got this. So Lawrence is very encouraging and supportive. Then Lawrence tries to get some encouragement and says, hey, I kind of had a hard day too. My recruiter's tripping. Like, she was like, maybe you need to look at entry-level jobs or hourly jobs. And he said that in a way that showed he was clearly disappointed. And so he asked Issa's opinion, and she was like, yeah, maybe you should think about it. And he's clearly way put off by her agreeing with this white recruiter, telling him to basically lower his standards, lower his expectations for his job search and his whole career. All right, so in our next scene, we switch back to Molly and Issa. And here's, again, Molly actually trying to be a good friend. Here's what she asked Issa. Have you actually told him, referring to Lawrence, what the issues are in the relationship? Great question, friend. I see you. Molly to Issa, are you sure that it's all on him, Issa? Because at this point, Issa still is complaining about her relationship, complaining about Lawrence. And Molly is like, look, is it all him? You don't have any culpability here. I mean, have you even told him what he did wrong? Does he know why you're mad or upset, or why it's not working? These are all great questions, because no, Issa has not said none of this. She ain't said not a damn thing for real to Lawrence about what the actual problem is. Again, Lawrence didn't even know that she was mad enough to not be coming home. he didn't even know that that was what was happening. Like, he's like, what is going on? So, um, Molly makes reference to Jared, the, light skinned guy from episode 1, who she met in the club and then she saw on the street in episode 2. And for whatever reason, Issa refers to him as Rent-a-Boo. And so Rent-a-Boo is coming over to see Molly. And so basically they're going out to eat some tacos, and Molly speaks a little Spanish. Molly always got to flex on these niggas. So she's speaking Spanish to get the little tacos. Issa and Molly are always going somewhere to have some good eats. You know what I'm saying? Which is great, but it's like, yeah, Issa is pretty much spending still a lot of time away from home, away from Lawrence, and just with Molly talking about the failure of the relationship. And so then we see after the tacos, Issa and Molly go to some bougie house party. And so now we finally meet the friends. The friends is in the building. Yes, okay, all the friends come out. So this is when we meet everybody, okay? Everybody in the Insecure universe so far, okay? So we go into this house party and we immediately get Greek references. I'm talking about Black Greek references, stroll, okay, aka all kind of stuff. Seems like Molly is an aka, and we have Amanda Seales finally enter into the show. Yes, she's one of their friends in their group. And then we also get a chance to meet Kelly. Now, literally, Amanda Seales, her character's name is Tiffany, but I love Amanda Seales, so I'm always gonna call her Amanda. So if I say Amanda, just understand I'm talking about Tiffany in the show. And then Kelly, I'm gonna go find your real name, girl. I'm gonna go find your real name so I can call you your real name too. But Kelly is the character in the show, and I love Kelly. She's the heavyset, funny girl. Yes, love it. So they are definitely seem to be like college friends. Issa, Molly, Kelly, and Tiffany, with their significant others or lack thereof, are coming together for this party. And you hear them start talking about different things that are going on. They're reminiscing. Tiffany asks Molly about her new boo, which I'm like, ooh, they know about that. Oh, and he's coming. So Jared actually makes an appearance at the party. That's pretty good to be invited to meet the friends. He's moving up in the world. So, let's see. There was a small reference to like Issa's and Molly's shoes. Tiffany Amanda refers to Molly's Fendi, and then Issa's Converse, which I love some Converse. So shoot, Fendi Converse, we still besties. And so Kelly is like, I'm so tired of LA men. They get into this discussion about dating and men and love and relationships, of course. And so basically Kelly's talking about, hey, I'm tired of LA men. And then Molly also agrees. She's like, yeah, Black men don't approach us, etc., etc. And then Jared shows up and he weighs in on the conversation. And he was like, oh, hey, Issa, hey, Molly. He was like, oh, yeah, Issa was rapping on stage at the open mic. And they're like, what? Issa was rapping on stage? What? And then they want to try to get into that. And then Issa's like, no. Oh, Kelly, is that a drink ticket on the floor? And Kelly's completely like, wait, drink ticket? So I'm just like, oh, Lord. So literally, she tries to keep the conversation away from her getting on stage in the open mic, which, again, should show you how significant, again, that was for Issa to get on stage and do something completely out of her comfort zone, y'all, because even her other friends don't believe she even did it. So that shows how big of a deal that was for her. And so they continue with this conversation, but Issa like definitely dips out like early, like pretty much like right after they get there. And I remember right before Issa leaves, here we go with the money. Tiffany asked Issa for her portion of Kelly's birthday trip. And then Issa's like, ooh, can I get that to you on Friday? And then she dips. So again, that's real Black girlfriends. Like, oh, there's always a trip coming up. There's always some money you got to give somebody. There's always something you got to put in for. That's real. So I did appreciate this authentic kind of girl gang, girl power, and the introduction of the friends at this house party. So that was really dope. Issa leaves, but Molly stays because these are her people. She's there with Jared, her little new boo thing that she invited, and they continue to have this conversation about men and dating. And Jared brings up a good point that he did approach Molly, so you can't keep saying that all Black guys don't approach Black women. And then there's also a reference to degrees in college and education here. We get into a college discussion. Kelly says, once black men get degrees, it's all over. They think that they're just kings of the world in LA. And she was like, all the guys here are extra. So, and then there's a reference to NYC men are straightforward. And then Jared points out some other things. And then Tiffany's boo says, you know what? This is probably why men say black women are difficult. And then everybody's like, no, you know. Whew, that was a tough one because I'm like, ooh, black women. Yeah, ooh, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait to the end to get into that one because that's a huge can of worms to open right there. But here's a point that was made. Tiffany and her boo thing, I believe they're married. I think you can kind of tell that they're married. Tiffany says that I let him be a man and he lets me be a woman. And that's how we work things out. Don't y'all love Tiffany? Tiffany's the best. I love Amanda Steele. She's so great. Tiffany's so good. She played this role, okay? And so this is when we learn Jared did not go to college. Ooh, that was so crazy. Okay, here's what happens. They're having this conversation. And then someone asks, oh, Jared, where'd you go? He was like, oh, I didn't go to college. Molly does everything not to be like, because she was sitting right next to him. The way that her eyes got wide, though, her girls noticed. Kelly and Tiffany were like, okay. As Molly sits, you didn't go to college, nigga? What we doing here then? What's going on? I will say this. There was a point in time I used to date guys that didn't have a college degree. Is that time over? Yes. More to come. So, basically, ooh, let me take my earring out. This is hurting. I'm sorry, y'all. Ooh, the price we pay. Okay, to end off this college drinking night, party night, basically, we have this discussion. We find out Jared is not in college, did not go to college. We see that in the scene, he's cool with it. Like, he's the way he says it is straight face. He's not guilty about it. He's not afraid. He's not like stunning at all. He's like, yeah, I didn't go to college. Chilling. And so we follow them outside. I believe Molly and him go outside. And I think they do share a good little kiss. So that went well. Next scene. All right, now we are finally here. Whew, we is hot and sweaty on this bus. We are now on the way to the beach with you. We got y'all. I'm not hot at all. I'm just trying to bring y'all into the scene. We are on a hot ass sweaty bus, okay? We got Issa with all these white co-workers over here still acting weird, basically like not talking to her directly. It seems like there's even some giggling still going on. It seems like there's like a secret group chat she's not a part of. Which is just like, it's not bullying or anything, but it's just like, you don't want to work in places like that. You don't want to work with coworkers that don't like you, don't understand you, don't want to talk to you. Like, it's just not fun. But here is Issa being the hero on the bus. The kids going buck wild. They're complaining. They're talking about why we got to go to the beach, why we got to be in this traffic, why we got to be all hot. And so it's just kind of getting on everybody's nerves. So Issa stands up, makes an announcement, tries to tell everyone to calm down, that we're almost at the beach. And once we get there, it will be worth it. And then all of a sudden she sits down and the kids start trying to play around with the word beach. And they're like, beach, it better have my money. I can't wait to go to the beach. Like, I mean, they're just being kids. I mean, I didn't think it was that crazy. At least they actually weren't cursing straight out, saying the B word. But of course, kids are gonna be rowdy, especially if you don't have any music going. Like, my thing is, once you have like field trips on the bus, you know, you have a radio station, like you can turn up the music and everybody can be singing and dancing. Just as a FYI for anyone else who works with kids or youth, like, give them something to do on the bus. Like, have some kind of game, have some kind of activity, something easy, like do a I Spy game or play like a mind game. Like, I mean, there's so many little things. Sing songs, like do something. You can't just expect these kids to sit up there and just entertain themselves. Now, none of these kids had cell phones. That's one thing I noticed. I don't know if they took their phones, But usually these kids be on their cell phones, so I don't know. Anyway, moving forward. Now we see Lawrence at the bank. So we switch. We go from the bus to the bank. We see Lawrence is in this suit because he came off another job interview. He had told Issa he had another job interview. He goes to the bank. He's looking kind of down because he's, things are not going well. But he gets a pick me up from Tasha. Tasha at the bank. Tasha, the bank teller. So here's Tasha. Basically, he goes up. She's basically like, "Oh, Lawrence, you look good. You look nice in the suit." And he's like, "Oh, okay, thanks. I appreciate it." And then, he kind of opens up to her and he's like, "Things aren't going well. These jobs not, they don't want me." And he was like, she told him, she's like, "Don't worry. You'll get past this. The job is on the way." And he's like so surprised about this random encouragement coming from this random black woman at the bank. And she was like, "I see your bank account. You are a good man. You got savings and you got a college degree. You gonna be all right." And that's facts. Like, no lie. Most black women will take and look at a Lawrence like, on paper, Lawrence has everything going for him. He has a college degree, check. He's not homeless, check. He's not living with his parents, check. I guess he has a car. That's the only question I still have. Does Lawrence have a car? But it looks like he must have a car because he's getting around places. Check, check, check. Okay, that's 3 checks for a car for a black man. So yeah, and she says he's got some savings, so he's not flat broke. So check, check. So yes, technically from the outside looking in, which is basically what Tasha, the bank teller, is doing. She's like the outside perspective in addition to Issa. From the outside looking in, Lawrence could be doing worse. So this was a very big pick-me-up for him. And it actually gave him some encouragement. The encouragement that he was looking for from his girlfriend, Issa, when he told her about what the recruiter said. But I just think this is a different situation. Issa was already frustrated also about her own work situation. So I don't think she was thinking about, oh, how can I give this encouragement to Lawrence at the time? So Tasha does what she does. She encourages him. She says, "You are a good black man with no kids and you went to college. Keep your head up. Keep your head up, black man." All right, now we have finally made it to the beach. Okay, so we see the kids are playing in the sand. The waves are waving. Everyone has made it to the beach. It's a beautiful, bright, sunny day. Kids are playing in the sand and picking up trash too. They got some of the kids picking up trash. Some of the kids are playing around. Some of the kids are, playing around at the edge of the water. It's great. We finally made it to the beach, y'all. We got y'all. Did hear this white co-worker come up to Issa talking about why don't more of them swim? Time out. Not you saying them. And I love the response. One word. Slavery. Slavery. Need I say more? I think that's pretty clear cut. I think we all understood that scene, right? I love this show. Like, I have a degree in African American studies, so talking about race is something I love to do anyway. But to see it portrayed in this show is so great. These conversations that tiptoe around race, that's one of those microaggressions. Why don't more of them swim? Who is the them you're talking about, sir? Why don't children swim, or why don't black kids swim? Slavery. Do I need to unpack that? Y'all let me know if y'all need me to unpack that, because I think it's very clear what Issa meant when he said slavery. Like, I just think it was so great to just give him a taste of what he was basically asking for, which is, if you're going to group a whole race or whole group of people together or kids together, be ready to come and receive some historic references and information as to why this group of people may act differently than the group that you belong to. We have different histories. We have different backgrounds. We have different experiences, lived experiences and past experiences. So that was so on the nose. So good. Good job, writers. Good job. Slavery is why these kids is not swimming. What the hell are you talking about? And here we get some more of the kind of race situations and kind of microaggressions. So they're on the beach. Issa's with her coworkers on the beach. And we also hear a reference to one of her other white coworkers saying, I'm out of sunscreen. I'm out of sunscreen. She was like, do you have any more? And she was like, I didn't think that they would need any. I didn't think that they would need sunscreen. What we're hearing are some white Americans' thoughts and ideas of black children and black people. Some people believe that black people don't know how to swim, and they think it's something that we just don't want to do or don't know how to do. A lot of black people can swim, but it's the fact that culturally it's not something that is like the very first thing you're teaching your child. Some people, depending on where you are. And then this whole thing about sunscreen. Black people need sunscreen. I actually learned that. I just had sunburn being out in California a few days ago, like a few weeks ago. So yes, black people's skin still burns and still can be harmed by the sun's rays, just like anybody's skin. And we need to have our skin protected. Even though we have more melanin in our skin, we still can get sunburned. So at the end of the day, yeah, we can get sunburned, and them kids need sunscreen. And yes, some of us swim and then some of us don't. Okay. It is a little bit different. In white culture, they all swim. Like, that's just a little different. They all swim. They all get taught how to swim like at 1 year old. So it's just a little different. It's a little bit different. All right. Next, we switch to Molly back in the office. So now we back to Rashida. Can't wait to get y'all's opinions on this one, because this might split some folks how this scene kind of panned out. So Rashida is talking loud. So there's this glass office in Molly's office there, and it's nice. Again, remember, it's a law firm, usually quiet place. We hear, and she's the only second black woman in the office, so we hear Rashida, aka Dada, being loud like, oh my God, talking to her white co-worker or boss or whatever manager, walking down the hall, passing Molly's office. She's like, oh shit, here she go, making us look stereotypically loud and things like that. So Molly runs out the office and is like, hey Rashida, can I talk to you for a second? And Rashida's like, yeah, sure, what's going on? So she sits down in her office, and basically Molly is like, hey, I don't know how it was where you came from, but here, you just might want to switch it up a little bit. We don't want them thinking, that we're, yeah, you get what I'm saying? And like, she talks around it, around the issue, which is Rashida being loud, which is stereotypical of black women. And so Rashida gives an interesting response. She basically said, well, in my interview, I didn't switch it up for the partners. And for my manager, I didn't switch it up when I told them about this. So she was like, I don't think I need to switch it up now. And she gets up and she leaves Molly's office. And Molly was like, whoa, okay, I was just trying to help. So I honestly really would love to hear y'all's thoughts on this. Was Molly in the wrong, or was Rashida in the wrong, or was neither of them in the wrong? They each have the right to their own opinion, right? Some people could just think Rashida was loud and Molly was right to ask her to quiet down. But is that Molly's place? And does Rashida have a point? If she was loud in her interview and loud all the days that she's been in the office, is that something that she should be worried about or not? Because clearly she still got the job and she's still here. This is really coming down to perception, I believe, and experience. Perception and experience, and that's what I love about this episode, because all of these kind of racial epithets are not black and white. They're gray. So based on your experience, you may look at it a different way. You may say that's totally fine, or that's actually not okay. So would love to hear y'all thoughts in the comments. Drop it in the comments. Tell me what you think. Was Molly in the right for saying, hey, Dada, calm down? Or should Molly have not said anything and said, you know what, sis, if you get fired or let go, or if I hear them talking about your ass behind my back, I ain't saying nothing. Because that's, I feel like, what maybe Molly was trying to do. Like, don't sit up here and be loud and ghetto and then be surprised when they're talking about you. Because they will. So maybe that was something she was trying to shield her from. I don't know. But y'all let me know in the comments. We're almost done. So next, we get back to the beach. We're back to the beach with Issa. Now they're leaving the beach. What looks like everybody's tired from the beach. Everyone's carrying things off the beach. And so one of the nicer co-workers that Issa works with, the one with the curly hair that told her about all the white co-workers sending her emails about their concerns, she was like, you know what, Issa, I apologize. She apologizes for not telling Issa about the emails and not sharing them with her. And then she says that beach day went really well. Everyone was like, wow, beach day went really well. Congrats. That was a good success. The best thing that I think that came out of this episode was the Indian Middle Eastern girl who was being definitely fake as hell to Issa, coming up and saying, oh, Issa, yeah, we should do this again, da 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 da. And interrupting the conversation that Issa's having with her other coworker who had just invited her to go out to have drinks one day or something like that. And Issa's like, hey, can you hold this? And gives her this big ass, heavy ass cooler to hold and bring back to the bus on her own. And she struggled the whole rest of the scene. It was amazing. Best scene of this episode. That girl struggling with that cooler. Loved it. And so beach day was a success. And then we switch back to Molly and we see that she finally gets this notification that she's been admitted into this dating league. What is this league? We don't really know. We just know it's the upper echelon of all these bougie black people that she's trying to date amongst. And she's been waiting a long time, like months or whatever, to get invited to the app to be able to date these particular people in the league. So she's excited about it. She admitted it to Issa earlier in the episode as well. And so that's where we are. Next, Issa gets home and Lawrence is cooking. My man cooking. I love it. That's the best thing. Like, I don't think anything should make you more excited than your man cooking for you. Ooh, yes. But this is where this man, I just want to knock him upside his head. This is where he messes up. So Lawrence decides to cook because I believe in a prior scene, in either in this episode or the last episode, Issa had come home late after working, was hungry, was like, there's nothing here to eat. I got to think about everything. So Lawrence is trying to be good. But Issa comes home and she brings food home. This is a clear miscommunication. If Lawrence was going to cook out of the blue sky, he should have told Issa he was cooking so that she could look forward to it, so that she would know not to get something else to eat. Because she wouldn't just assume that this nigga's just going to cook out of nowhere, a whole meal, a whole dinner. So here we go. Let's get into this scene. So Lawrence over here chefing. He's like, yeah, I got lamb. I got veggies. He's thinking he's doing it. Just about to be, I'm about to be back in that thing. Issa comes home. She makes a face when she finds out that he's cooking because she brought food home for them. So she's like, I guess I'll put this on the table. Like, she already has an attitude. Like, the attitude is there. I guess I'll put this on the table. Because she's like, where should I put this food that I just bought for us? Because he didn't communicate with her that he was cooking. You got to communicate that, Negroes. Come on. Please take notes. Communicate when you cook. Please take notes. But he's trying. You can tell he's trying. So he brings a plate to the table. Okay, he's setting the table, setting the plates. But this girl does not take the plate from the table that we have not seen them sit down and eat at, not one time yet. Brings it over to the couch and sits down and she doesn't even put the plate on the table in front of the couch. I think they have like a little table in front of the couch. She puts the plate like on the couch next to her. Oh my God. And then she messes around and actually spills some of the food on the couch. Lawrence goes off. He goes off. He's like, Issa, what are you doing? Like, she spills food on the couch. He goes over to rush to try to clean up the couch, but we know he's frustrated because, first of all, like, why wouldn't you sit at the table? I'm trying to literally make a dinner for us. And then he literally tells her, I wanted to sit at the table so we could talk. And when she sat down at the couch, sorry y'all, my sinuses are a little clogged. She said that basically she doesn't feel like talking. She had a long day at work. That's selfish. You know you are in a relationship. You know this man wants to talk to you. Talk to this nigga. So I'm just like, why are y'all doing this? So, first montage. Oh, okay. So this is what happens next. While Lawrence is so concerned about the couch and trying to like scrub, Issa kind of has this like freeze moment, and it finally dawns on her, and we get this beautiful montage of Issa and Lawrence before. So we get this, like, I think it's like a 2-minute montage of Issa and Lawrence on this couch, making out on the couch, sleeping on the couch, kissing on the couch, watching TV on the couch, eating on the couch. We see this montage of how their relationship was in the last few years with this couch. So this couch invokes memories that takes Issa back in time, and she remembers why the hell she fell in love with Lawrence, and she remembers why she is with this man, and she realizes how completely selfish she's been, just thinking about herself, not thinking about him and what he just did, cooking, trying to talk to her, trying to make things right. And she says, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Like, she had to really just kind of stop and process and think, like, do you really want to make this worse, or do you actually want to make this better? And so she's like, no, I'm sorry about everything. She doesn't just apologize for the stain on the couch. Issa apologizes for everything. She's like, I'm sorry for leaving. I'm sorry about this not working. I'm sorry about dinner. I'm sorry about everything. And she says, it's on me too. And so basically Lawrence says, he sits down on the couch and they finally have a conversation. Lawrence says, I haven't been my best self lately. And then he tells her, which again, I don't know if his timing is off too. His time to be just weird. He decides right then in the middle of this kind of finally rekindling to say, oh, I got a new job. And she got excited, like, oh, a new job? Okay, where? Thinking it's a salary job, a good job that he was applying for. And he says, it's at Best Buy. And you can see the kind of confusion and disappointment. But the first thing she says is, are you sure? And so here again, it goes back to what Issa, she has to realize she wasn't paying attention when Lawrence was telling her that the recruiter was like, lower your standards, apply for hourly positions, apply for entry level. He needed someone to be like, no, don't do that, bruh. But Issa was like, go ahead and do that shit. I don't know. I don't care. So he did it. He did it. Instead of continuing to interview for other positions, he lowered his standards and took a job at Best Buy. And so, but she, kind of rebounds and she says, you know what? I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. And she appreciates that at least he's trying to take accountability and ownership of trying to get back on his feet. So he says to Issa, I'm in this. Are you? And she says, yes, she's in. And they finally share a kiss. I think this is the first kiss we've seen between Issa and Lawrence in the season, in the show, period. So they kiss on the couch, cute. There wasn't no extra kiss. It was just like, cute, sweet kiss. And then we switch back to Molly. Molly messing around and dumps Daniel. I mean, not Daniel, Jared. She calls him out the blue, like right before she's about. Molly's timing is crazy too. My thing is, damn, go on the date with the new Shadow League people first, then see how it goes. And then if you meet someone that's actually just as good as Jared, then in a couple of weeks, tell that nigga, okay, I met somebody else. But damn, before she even gets on the date, She's so excited. She's like, oh, I'm about to dump this nigga. East Molly calls Jared and was like, hey, how you doing? He's excited. And she's like, hey, so just want to let you know I'm not looking for a relationship right now. And he's like, what? That don't even make sense. Like, that don't even match nothing that you said nor did in the last 2 weeks. Are you what? He's just dumbfounded. It's not even like he's hurt. He's just like, wait, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah, I just think we should be friends. I'm not looking for anything serious. So she's lying. I hate when girls do this. Instead of being honest, which honestly, if she was honest, she would sound like an asshole because basically she's dumping him for no reason. She's dumping him for a guy she's never even met yet. Stupid. But she's lying. She's like, I'm not looking for a relationship. She is. And I want to just be friends. No, she don't. She's lying. So she lies to him to dump him. Stupid. Stupid. Yep, Molly can be stupid too. Yeah, it's not just on Issa. Molly has her times. These are one of those times. So Jared's like, but Jared, I will give it to props. He could have hung up on her. He could have cussed her out. I mean, not saying that you should do those things, but he held his own. He was classy. He said, I mean, okay, if that's what you want. And she was like, yep. She was like, oh, great. Okay, I'm glad I was able to tell you that. All right, talk to you later. Bye. He was like, all right, cool. Like, just friends. All right. Next, So that was it. And so that's the end of the episode. Honestly, it was a lot in that episode. I love that we, again, addressed some racial things. But honestly, let's just keep it moving. Episode 4 coming soon. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you for watching me. It's Danielle S. Reed TV. We are talking about Insecure, and these folk got a lot going on, but we're going to continue to rock with them. We're going to see some growth. We're going to continue to see where it goes because this is just the beginning. Believe me, the beginning. So I will see you back here in a minute. Peace.